Hi, this is Nick George with Clouds Diamond Sharpening with a little demonstration on how to fix a vinyl clipper that's loud, or basically the 5-star, the senior. Basically all these walls are almost all the same except for the housings and sometimes the blade mount. Like a senior has a screw in the middle, so these two adjust it, and then the center one just holds it in place. If you switch blades a lot, I would recommend one of them since they're self-adjusting, and you have to adjust this one every time you loosen the blade. You have to adjust. I'll show you later in the video how to adjust it at the end of the video. First, that's a bad noise, so let's just see if we can take care of that. Now, this don't always take care of the noise, but sometimes, most of the time it does. So you want the blade about in the middle if you have it adjusted right. So that's not adjusted right. So let's just go ahead and break it down. Okay, so this is the inner workings, okay? Now, some have this little thing ground off, and it would be like a senior. This will be different, and this will be different. If it's a senior, or what? A balding blade won't even have an adjustment. It'll just have just straight shaving blade on it. This one has an adjustment. It could take any kind of blade, basically. So let's unplug it. Because the first problem I see is this screw looks loose. So let's just go ahead and tighten that up. So yeah, you don't want your field loose. If your field is loose, it's gonna make noise, and you don't like that. And some difference between some models is they have this, they don't have this switch housing. See, this is a switch housing, you can pop the whole housing out. So this is a little nicer than the cheapest one. Okay, so alright, so first off is you sharpen the blade, and if it doesn't cut in the middle, then what you'll do is you'll loosen these up. They're reverse thread, so when you loosen them up, so it takes a star bolt. That's not the right one. There we go. So it's a star bolt. I doubt this camera will zoom in and focus. Well, anyway, if you don't know what a star bolt is, I probably wouldn't do this repair. So if you don't know what a star bolt is, you probably don't know what reverse threads means. Okay, so basically reverse thread means is you're going to tighten it to loosen it. So that's easy. So what that does is loosens this armature. It's called an armature. See? So now I can pry it up, and then look, it sticks up above here. So what that does is adjust your tension. So when you're adjusting this, you don't want it to sound like that. So let's just, so you gotta. Yeah, that sounds bad. Okay, so if you loosen this off and like it still made noise like mine does, that already tells me the tension is too loose. Because what's happening is it's not holding this arm hard enough. So it's just wobbling around real loud. So tighten these back up, and I usually put a little pressure, like about 2 pounds of pressure on this arm. And then that will slow it from rattling. So we plug it in. See, now it ain't rattling, and the blade's still strong, so that's good. So now you take this and there you go. So that's a good sounding clipper. See? You can't stop the blade. Okay, now if you can stop the blade, then you tighten this too tight. The tension is too tight, or there's no oil, or there's corrosion. So every time you get these trimmers serviced, I recommend sharpening the blade, because you could do a service and get it moving again, but it ain't gonna move at 100% because there'll be corrosion in the blade. So, especially if you can stop it, you don't want to be able to stop it. See, that's nice and strong. Cut my hair right off. It won't stop in the hair. See, it just shaves it bald. Well. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and oil this just to make sure it's oiled. That's always the first step. And then you test it, make sure it cuts. Alright, so that cuts pretty good. See the string just flying off? That's good. Can't stop it, so that's it. And that's a service. Alright, so remember, make sure your field's tight. You need this to have pressure on it, down. If you can't stop it and it's rattling, then the tension is too loose. If you can stop it and if you can stop it, then you need to loosen that tension. You should never be able to stop it. Now if you loosen that tension and it still makes noise and doesn't cut, then it needs to be sharpened. And you see how this vibrates over to this side a little too far. You want this in the middle, so you get the most travel for the blade. So what I'm going to do is unplug it. Okay, now you loosen this up, and then you simply just put this in the middle. There. Okay, so now see how it's over just a little bit. This cutter blade's over to the right. That's okay, because look how much play we're gonna have right here. It's gonna pull it that far over. So that's okay, that's good. You want it just a little over to the right because it's a vibrating clipper. Once I get an ML in here, I'll show you guys how to adjust them. I'm pro at that. But anyway. See, so now it still rattles a little bit. So what I'm going to do is pull this back a little. There we go. See, no rattle. Ever. You don't want it ever to rattle. Because if it does when you do this and it rattles, then that means it's almost going to rattle. So once this backs off a little, it's going to be really noisy. Probably even tighten the tension. See how hard that is to stop? Let's just go ahead and tighten the tension a little more, just to give you guys a little feel for it. See how I have my finger on the front? Because I want that to have tight tension. Just not too tight where the blade doesn't move. There we go. So that's a good cutting clipper. Trimmer, shaver, whatever you want to call it. Never rattle, that's good. There we go. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful adventure. It's been super exciting. Yay. Thank you. Have a good day. Keep it sharp. Keep it working.